Okay.
I'm right here.
Tottenham On Tour. Tottenham On Tour. Right, I think you're muted.
That's strange. Usually it unmutes by itself. Welcome to the show. This is Audere Facere with Darryl and Elaine and the two Brians on Tottenham On Tour. I want to welcome Darryl and Elaine. Darryl, Elaine, or Lofty and Elaine. What's going on?
Right, 1 second. I think someone's got YouTube on in the background.
Yeah, if you've got YouTube on and oh, maybe it's me. It could be me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, what a great start.
Yeah,
what
it's
a
all good.
great
It's all good.
I'm on StreamYard.com. I'm not really near YouTube. So.
I don't have it open on mine either, so somehow I don't hear it anymore. But that's
it's gone.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's get back to it then, folks. Sorry about that. That's a great intro. Welcome to the show, guys. Do I call you Lofty Darryl or do I call you Darryl? Which one do you prefer?
Whatever, yeah. Call me Andrew if it makes you feel easy.
All right, yeah, I might do that. Elaine, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Good. Yep.
Excellent. Bri, my fellow cohort, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Although I must admit, I'm getting quite emotional now because this time next week I'm on a plane back to Toronto. Yeah, saying goodbye to the nephews and niece is proving hard already. But yeah, I'll be in Toronto with you very, very soon. I'm looking forward to it.
Bri, you're the one who's feeding back. It's not me or Darryl or Elaine.
Okay, let me come out and come back in, but I know it's not me, but we'll do this again. 1 sec, I'll be back.
All right, and I'll talk to Darryl and Elaine. See how professional we are, guys? See how professional we are? Amazing. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. It is gone when Brian left, so it's clearly his fault, and we'll stick with blaming him. I want to talk to you guys about. We'll get into. I want to talk to you guys about the group, right? So, Audere Facere, you started the group. I want to say 10 years ago or so. Would you say, Darryl?
1st of July 2013.
Okay, 1st of July 2013. So yeah, we're getting close to 10 years.
8.5 years now. Well,
yeah.
8.5 years.
Fantastic group. Elaine, you joined the group immediately, or did you guys start it together? Was it
I didn't join the group until February following year, and I was approved by one of Darryl's fellow admin at the time who created the group. Just see and set to use the group. Obviously, looked at my profile, see I was top of the head, and then it was literally within a couple of 3 months. I got really well with Darryl, and I just said, like, there's not a lot of women in this group. And believe me, I know like feminist guys, but I thought, you know what, football isn't just for boys, it's for girls as well.
Absolutely.
So, he made me an admin, and within a month, we went from 400 to 1100.
Nice.
And then we just like literally got a little gang together, we did. And we've now got this perfect admin going. And
fantastic. Elaine, I'm gonna stop you there real quick. I think you have YouTube open in the background. I think it might be you. If you have any other tabs that are open in your it's definitely.
Right, let me come out of mine and I'll have a look.
Yeah, we'll do both. We'll try to sort it out. But I think it's somebody had YouTube still open.
Okay.
It wasn't me.
Okay, so Elaine, you're good. You know, it's funny because we were all talking before and we didn't have the issue, but we weren't live yet. So we'll see what happens when Darryl comes back. But great story, Elaine. So you joined it a couple of years into it existing.
About 8 months after the group.
About 8 months. Okay, yeah, 8 months. Yeah, and it's a wonderful channel. You guys have I mean it's 17,000 followers, I believe, on it now.
Yeah. There was at one point plus 20 plus, but then we were getting too many Levy apologists, and we were sick of it because the majority of our admin, well, actually, yeah, all of our admin are anti-Levy, And basically we said, you know, we're not taking any of this crap anymore. We're going to get rid of all the Levy lovers. And there's a group for them to go and this is shit bike, basically.
It's important to stress that in the first few years it was an actual Levy in group, because we had the belief that Levy had us at heart with the whole stadium build, and we were going to like be living in the land of milk and honey once the stadium was built, and that turned out to be a load of old crap. So, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting that...
All I'm seeing is loads of fans getting ripped off.
Yeah.
Loads of fans being sold a dream. Like West Ham were the first few years when they got their stadium. They were buying on basic players and just plodding along with mediocrity, and that's what we're doing. This is wrong.
So I have to say, I can confirm it's not me.
Yeah, it's definitely Darryl. Darryl, you've got YouTube open in the background somewhere. You just want to double check that, because when it was gone when you left and when you came back, it came back. So yeah,
So basically, Elaine, remember I was just saying to you in the background that people have been mentioning to me about how good your group is, and I kept trying to join, but for some reason I couldn't find it. And when, like Darryl just said, with you guys being Levy in, I know how Levy out I've been in how long for, and I said to you, I think I said something that may have put me on the naughty step. Possibly. And I think I think Darryl was just 1,000,000,000% confirmed that I was on the naughty step, because when he said he was trying to add me back into the group, he said there are a few glitches, which was basically talk for I was banned. So yeah, so
right, I've checked everything. It's not my end. I've cleared every tab.
Okay.
It's back again.
There's obviously a ghost in the room. So
yeah, it's back again when you come back for some reason. So do you have another laptop where it might be open in the same room, or another device? Is it open on your phone perhaps, or on...
No. I'm just open on here.
Yeah, weird.
I wonder if my phone is, tell you what, I'll switch my phone off.
Let's have a look. We can see. We'll sort this out. But whilst we're sorting this out, we're just going to say hello to the people that are in the groups already, that are in the chat.
Hello to the people that are in the group.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's Celery Agent, there's Eugene, there's I was about to say my own name. There's myself, I'm here. Adam is here. Derek who's a great supporter of all channels, but also I haven't sung this for a long time, and he hasn't been in here for a long time. So I just want to say, Matty Hayes.
Hey, Matty Hayes is here. Fantastic.
Matty Hayes, one of the greatest Tottenham YouTubers on the planet, and he's got a lot to say about you, Elaine, saying that you're one of his, as well as myself and Brian, one of his biggest and most loyal supporters. So yeah, it's always good to see Mr. Matt Hayes in the building.
He was just a group member when before we started. Obviously, he was from his little shoebox in his house, and we'll promote you as much as we possibly can, and we did. So
now he's coming leaps and bounds, isn't he? So
yeah, he's done very well for himself. Wonderful stuff, especially during the transfer window.
It's the same as the Daniel brothers over at We Are Tottenham TV. They've done very well. Ben and Simeon. They've done for each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ben and Simeon are great guys.
Yeah, they've been fantastic.
But they're such humble folks, you know what I mean? When you meet them, they're just like we're everyday folk. They haven't let it get to their heads. They're just like normal Tottenham fans that you meet in a pub or wherever.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference is they've got a microphone on them. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky. I'm in a position where I've been on their show ahead of a lot. Is where I first started coming onto YouTube, and whenever those two names get mentioned, I have to have a bit of a Ben and Simeon loving, because them two are the most nicest guys you could ever wish to meet, and they are. A lot of these shows and a lot of these channels, especially ours, have sprouted because of what they do. Yeah. And rather than coming up and thinking, oh my God, these guys could be a threat, they are the most open, friendliest, willing to appear on any show, will offer advice, help, support, anything. Ben and Simeon are just two of the nicest people you can meet, and I've had the pleasure as well, and I'll see him tomorrow, thank God, is meeting his grandpa, or their grandpa, who is just the legend himself, the absolute legend himself, Sir So yeah, they are fantastic. Sorry, Brian, I cut in a bit. Where were we on the conversation?
Yeah, just talking about the channel, and we're actually going to get to that and ask Darryl and Elaine. What do you guys want to see happen with your group moving forward? As far as how it's getting used, and talk a little bit about what you guys did during the pandemic, because I thought Darryl, what you've been doing every day with the playlist is fantastic.
Yeah,
really good stuff. You guys want to talk a bit about?
That is a full-time job, trust me.
It is, I know, mate, and you do wonderful stuff with it. So tell us a little bit about that and what it's been like running it during the pandemic.
Well, it kind of like when the pandemic kicked in, obviously we weren't allowed to go to football matches, and as much as your teams, well, there was several months where they weren't playing at all, but even though you couldn't go to see them, you still wanted to know what was going on, but your passion wasn't the same as not being standing in a stadium, sitting in your armchair watching on the TV just wasn't there. So we said we needed something to put into the group, get the members active, keep them occupied. And that's when Dee says, well, what if I start doing a playlist every day? And I says, well, do it. I says, but don't do your own. I said, just ask the members. And then
smart way to do it. Absolutely. Yeah.
It was like planting a seed, started watering it, and now we've got a massive tree. But yeah, it was, and then it just built things. We needed to do things to try and keep people occupied, because it was a lonely old world out there. It really was. It wasn't just no football. It was a lonely world for a lot of people. And sometimes, we have had feedback in the past that some people rely on the group. It gets them through the day. Just the playlist on its own.
Absolutely.
When the pandemic hit, a lot of people were very, very depressed. It really rocked them. It absolutely really rocked them. People were getting frustrated with each other. They didn't know what to do. Like it's such an unprecedented time. It was no one knew what was going on.
We also had
everyone was missing each other. Everyone was missing their loved ones. And I don't care what people say. There's always that feeling of wanting to touch you, relatives, hug, embrace them. They couldn't even do that. That's why they felt more and more frustrated. They couldn't even see anyone, let alone only by what we're doing now. And it's not the same, is it? It's not quite the same. It's just, and you need something to keep them keeping on.
Yeah.
You need something to do that. I also think
that we are very, very fortunate to have Mickey Hazard as a personal friend. And he contacted a lot of people in the group, Darryl himself when he had his down days, and Gary Mabbott as well. We'd contact Mickey and say, look, is there any chance you could phone this guy up or this lady up?
That's fantastic.
They're struggling a little bit. And, we're really good friends with Mickey. And so he was a massive, massive impact in the group as well during the pandemic by doing what he did in contacting people.
He contacted me and I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's a big one, right? It's moving.
This is me, you're Gary Mabbott. What are you doing ringing me? Wow.
That's fantastic stuff. I want to just thank you, Darryl and Elaine, for the group itself and what it means to people. And I've enjoyed it for as long as I've been a member, which is I think from pretty close to the beginning. So just really, really good stuff. And
it's been a good boy then.
yeah. I haven't gotten kicked out.
No, because when it's coming back to EGIC again. I fully believe what EGIC were doing, as I said at the start of the stream, and I wronged a lot of people. I did wrong a lot of people. I've said I was going to be honest tonight. I would make that apology to everyone I've wronged. I'm not proud. I'm not proud. I've got nothing to hide. I'm going to say it now. If there's a chance of reconciliation with some of them, then I'm all for it. And I'd let them back in the group any time of their choosing. It's up to them. If they
big up for
that, Darryl. That's fantastic stuff, man. Yeah.
So I'll speak to you after this as well, because I've got quite a lot of people. Because we'll get more into it. I'm heavily involved with Change for Spurs. Obviously, we're at a lot of things, and there's a lot of people. Like I was saying when you just went off camera as well, that I think I was blocked by you guys, rightly or wrongly, when I was Levy out, and like you said at the beginning, you may have been Levy in. So there are a load of people I know that have spoke about this group. But one of the things I've loved about this group is I couldn't believe how many people from Canada are actually a part of this group. It's incredible. And also, you got one of my best friends ever as well, and you saw Jason Duffel, who was on our previous show.
He was promoting you like a sickhead.
Yeah.
He loves you guys. He
Do you guys know
adores
Sean
you
Wilson?
guys.
Yeah.
Sean
Sean's
Wilson is one of my best mates in Canada. Yeah.
yeah, he helps run Toronto Spurs, so he's been on the show a few times, and good.
He's a nice guy, to be fair. He's
very nice guy, really good guy.
I'll tell you the nicest thing with Sean. It happened with Jason, it happened with me. So when I first moved to Toronto, the first game that I watched in our pub, which is the Scotland Yard, I went to the West Ham game when we were at Wembley, and Son scored that 30-yard banger to make it 1-1, and that was the first time I met Sean Wilson. And I couldn't work then because I didn't have my permanent residency, so I was just there waiting for it to come. Sean used to take me out for lunches, take me out around town to show me, like, we've literally done so much together. So when I actually won a We Are Tottenham TV raffle for a signed Toby Alderweireld shirt, he loved Toby, Sean, so I've given it to Sean. But there they are. There's another guy who's close to our hearts, Sean Wellborn, who helped us do a mental health show on our previous channel. And there he is, funny enough.
Hello, Sean, you're all right, mate.
Sean's with us, man. Yeah, good stuff.
Look at that. But yeah, with Jason, another thing Sean did with Jason is Sean had free tickets to go get a brand new stadium tour, and he was back in Canada, so he gave it to Jason to take his kids. Sean Willisey is just a fantastic dude.
Can I show you what Sean gave to me?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. Oh, yeah, there it is. Love that. That's fantastic. I mean, that's obviously where I am based on my accent that I have compared to you guys. That's where Brian and I met is in Toronto and decided to start this channel. So there's a lot of support here. Toronto is a very Spurs friendly city, and there's a lot of cool people around, and it's a good place. There's a couple different bars. We got the Scotland Yard and we got the Done Right, and a quality spot for Tottenham.
Yeah, it's Toronto for the Spurs fan base, I think.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's incredible. When we actually opened up Toronto Spurs, because it used to be Spurs Canada, but we had to break it up because the country's so vast.
Yeah.
So whenever we tried to organise like Christmas events, or everything was like getting the money across or time zones and try it. So we split it into provinces, and we actually had Steve Nash, the NBA player, come to our pub and open it, and hopefully he's going to come down and watch the game. We've probably promised one time soon. So we're doing good things at Toronto Spurs, just like you guys are. And I just want to say as well about that playlist thing, because from someone that has suffered with mental health on and off for 20 years and has also gone through it bad during this lockdown thing, what you're doing is inspirational and just goes to show what a good group can do. And it's just more about your community as well, online, not just Tottenham this, Tottenham that. So what you guys have been doing is absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
But so we're going to do a quick preview, I believe, of Burnley. A very quick preview, review. Sorry, we'll do a preview of United, and then we're going to go for the box office event. We're going to go for a little bit of Levy bashing, where I will be.
Yes.
So that's what everyone's come for. So we're going to keep that till the end. But the Burnley game we're going to start off with, aren't we, Brian?
Yeah, we'll start with the Burnley. We're going to make this quick. It was not the starting 11 we've been used to seeing. Of course, it's a midweek in the League Cup, and we win 1-0. I don't know. Again, it was just a lack of finishing, lack of something in the final third, getting on the end of the ball, or lack of a pass. I'll start with you, Darryl. What were your thoughts on the performance in the lineup, and did you have anything that stood out to you about that performance that was positive?
Like it's always that mentality in the final third. We always try to pass it into the net.
Yeah.
We don't take a shot. We don't go gay abandon from outside the 18-yard box. Just have a dig. A dig. Even if it goes hopelessly wide or over, at least you're trying. It's better than all this tippy-tappy like across the 18-yard box that comes to nothing. Just do something. You've got to be to dare is to do. So dare to go for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to have a go.
Yeah. I agree, and even the chances where we did have that, like the Harry Kane chances, Harry Kane, who normally at least gets that on net, is skying it over, just not even getting it close. So it was pretty ugly. Elaine, what were your thoughts on the performance on Wednesday?
Well, first of all, when I seen the lineup, my head sunk because I get it. Galini's going to be in goal for cup games and whatever, but for me, he's just another Gomez. He's flappy, and puts butter on his gloves before he hits the pitch. I agree that the final third, we go a goal up. There just seems to lack a bit of passion. It's, let's hold on to this 1-0. No, I'm not even actually happy until we're 3-0 up with 3 minutes to go, because I think back to West Ham a couple of seasons ago. Right, 3-0 up, 88 minutes, and then finish up 3-3. So from that day, even if we're 3-0 up with 2 minutes to go, I'm still nervous. So for me, they're not pushing forward, they're not pressing enough in that final third. Harry is still picking the toys up from whatever game he's played in since the start of the season, and I don't care what anybody says, and if I get vilified for it, then so be it. His body language is not there at all.
Yeah, I agree, Elaine. I've been saying that as well, and I think it's blatant. It's so obvious. He had. Yeah, I think it was unfortunately, as much as you want to keep your best players. It is a scenario where I think it's had so much of a negative effect on the dressing room that the rest of the players are bothered by it, as well as him and himself. And we're not seeing that creativity, that movement off the ball, that sort of potential for getting on the end of a nice pass in the box, and we're just not seeing it. He's just not running. He doesn't look like he's running. He's
just dropping deep all the time.
Yeah. He's dropping deep, and then he's sauntering when he's like la la la, bit of lollygagging going on, right? And it's a hard watch. Yeah, exactly. Brian, sorry, Darryl. Go ahead, Darryl.
Is he being told to drop deep though?
I don't know. That's a good question, because it seems to me that he doesn't matter what he's being told. He's just doing what he wants. And that in itself kind of tells you a lot about sort of his mentality and what he's just doing. I'm just going to do whatever I want. I'm going to go where I want to go at the end of this.
Every time we have a shot on target or a shot off target, you look at him and he might as well be going.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. There's nothing to play for. It's like, you know what? Modric did it. Bale did it. I'll do it.
Yeah, it's not like we haven't seen this before, right?
Modric in his last season played out his skin for us.
Correct.
Out of his skin for us that last season. I hated him for the way he ratted us out and the way he cried about going to Real Madrid, but you can't fault him. His last season, he carried us.
He still played. Yeah, he still played.
I'd have Modric back in a heartbeat, but
too old now, Dave. Too old.
But he's still playing at Real Madrid.
Yeah, still playing pretty well at Real Madrid too. I mean, he's one of those players that might be able to play a little longer. Yeah, for sure. Brian, anything to add on the Burnley result?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll come on to my little Harry Kane bit at the end. What I do want to talk about, I want to talk about two players we haven't mentioned that deserve a lot of credit for their performances: Davinson Sanchez and Giovanni Lo Celso.
Sanchez needs to start against Man United.
So do you know what, Darryl?
Sanchez Romero would be the starting two.
I was kind of thinking along that line, because I think Romero is doing basically what King did when Dawson plays alongside him or Gallas plays alongside him. Once Romero's there, he's making everyone look better. But the only reason I don't think I'll come on to Lo Celso in a moment, Sanchez will start, because I think starting Royale on Wednesday was a key indicator that he's going with Tanganga tomorrow for defensive duties as opposed to attacking. So I don't want to see that defence shifted too badly, because I've got a real feeling Tanganga will start to kind of be more defensive with Romero. Every time I go to say Royale, I say Romero. I don't know what that is. But literally, so I agree. So I like Sanchez. I still think there's a player there. It's finding the right partner. And all right, yes, it was Burnley and whatever, but that's a tough place to go to, whether it's great football or not.
But we need
personally, I think that Sanchez played better since Nuno took over.
Fearing that lot.
Yeah. So
we're going to have trouble. I don't care about Fernandez and all that. Greenwood has got the trickery to unlock us to pieces.
He's got a great finish as well. He can score goals.
Exactly, which is why I think Tanganga starts.
And
which is why
Sanchez, we need him against Man United because he's got that pace out of centre defence, while Romero can just sit back.
Romero just looks class. Romero is
cut above, isn't he, Romero? Yeah,
Romero's class. But then you got Lo Celso, and Gio Lo Celso. I would start him instead of Dembele. That's for damn sure. He needs 10 to 15 games straight, and then you can say, right, he's not living up to it or whatever. He looked more direct. He gives you a bit more in defence. So that's the one change I would make. I would start definitely Lo Celso for Dembele and bring Dembele on with 25 minutes when Man U are tiring. and then go, right, you don't need to worry about your energy, just go and absolutely ruin them. Now, Harry Kane. People know my feelings on Harry Kane rather well. They're not very good at the moment. And again, he didn't show it. It's not even he didn't show it. It's not even that volley. It's that shot that Lo Celso gave him that great ball, and it went close to the corner flag. I mean, that is. I mean, I don't think I've seen a worse finish from Harry Kane in a long, long time. Listen, we all know his body language ain't there. Elaine's completely right, and Elaine will know from going. And I've just discovered we'll be sitting a few rows in front of me, as I've been saying with a certain Danny Kiriakou, his body language when you're watching him live is just not the same as previous seasons. Listen, I hope he comes good. I hope he comes good. I think he'll come good, but the patience is running out because it's now having a bigger disadvantage on the team.
Yeah, it's a massive.
I had to come out because it was everyone was like quiet, so I didn't hear anyone.
So yeah, I mean, but listen, it's another win. The draw will get made tomorrow. Let's see who we get. And then yeah, but now it's on to the big game. Well, every game in the league's a big game, really, isn't it? El Sacchio, as they call it.
El Sacchio is what they're calling it. Yeah. I want to get sacked. Let's just go through each one person at a time here to kind of get your thoughts on Nuno and his performances so far. And I'm gonna start with you, Darryl. His performances, Nuno's decision making and performances with this team, it's very up and down. We haven't seen a lot of consistency. Is he at a scenario where he could get sacked if we lose this game? You know, if we lose this game 3-4-0, is there a potential for Nuno to be sacked?
He's out.
You think so? Yeah.
3-4-0, he's gone.
Yeah,
he's got to be gone. Even Daniel Levy would have to see that.
I mean, I think Daniel Levy, he typically reacts to those situations like that. He'll likely want to get rid. Elaine, what are your thoughts on Nuno's position and what his performance so far as Spurs manager?
Well, first of all, can I say that Nuno has got the best face furniture in football? He really has. I don't think our managers are being given enough time. It's okay saying, yeah, let's sack Nuno if we lose 3 or 4, or even if we lose 2-0. What's it going to achieve? Because at the end of the day, call me cynical, but I'm sorry, but I think that Daniel Levy picks that team. He has the final say. Nuno might pick the team and hand him the piece of paper, and then Levy will say, actually, nah. Yeah. And that's the way I look at it.
The big question is, though, what can Nuno do in 2 months after a team that have been degrading for the last 2 years?
Exactly.
What can he do in 2 months?
No manager.
Not even Churchill could win a war in 2 months. Come on.
Yeah, he's being asked to do a lot, I think, in a very difficult situation with a squad that has been. I think when his first game, 7 players in the first 11 were players that were played under Poch. You know, that's 2 managers ago, and we're still like dying to get these players to perform. The likes of Dele Alli, the likes of Harry Winks, the players that just aren't good enough for this club anymore, and need to move on. They need to cycle through, like teams cycle players. That's how you get you refresh your squad, especially when you bring in a new manager. We still haven't done that. We brought in some good players, don't get me wrong, but it hasn't been enough, and it hasn't been enough where that the manager's being given the time with his players, the players that he wants to bring in, or in this case, Paratici, that they're able to show what they can do. If we sack them too soon, it seems to me like a bit of a mistake. But I do think that it might happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it will happen. Unfortunately, it's again, who's gonna want to come to us anyway to start with? You know, who wants to come to a Premiership club that are like, you know, going to probably struggle to get mid-table?
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, what are your thoughts on Nuno? And I know I have a good sense of, like, I think you and I are in agreement on this. I think it's too soon to say we should sack him, but it is a growing, obviously this being called El Sacchio, this game against Man U. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's a feasibility? Do you think it's something that's going to happen? I'm always of the mind, give him till Christmas, right? Like if a manager starts, let him get through that difficult time, and if they find a way to galvanize the squad and get them to play together and start to score goals, then we might see a better result from that manager. But they got to go through that a little bit. But Brad, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thankfully the parasite has put himself in a corner that he can't even get out of. It's like literally, if I sack this guy who I tried to get for 70, or not tried to get the management fiasco for 75 days, I look an idiot. And then if I do get him, who is going to come in to replace him? That's the issue. Like, if you look at it, if we call this El Sacchio, let's just say this is, and let's just say we know that the loser loses their job, kind of like in Fast and Furious when they ride for cars. If Man U lose their job, if Solskjaer loses his job, Man U can go to approach anyone. Man U has got enough gravitas and enough history and enough, yes, we'll back you,
and money.
They protested against the Glazers, because not only just because of the Super League, they've done it for years and years and years, but the Glazers have been honest. I'm going to use you as a cash cow. I'm going to take money out of the club to benefit my American sports. I'm going to do this. But, you protest? Here you go. Have Arawe, Sancho and Ronaldo. So it doesn't matter who it is. They could make a move for Poch, for example. He'd consider, not maybe he won't because it's Tottenham, but they can go for any manager, any.
Probably Conte, arguably, with one that comes in, and they win the league. They win the league next season with that squad and Antonio Conte as manager. That's how much better he is than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
But they can attract him. But if it be a Ten Hag, if it be a top manager from Serie A, or not saying Diego Simeone because he's pretty attached, but they can at least say, yeah, okay, I'll listen to you and talk to you. If we lose, we will have anyhow. People like Frank Lampard, but you can chuck Frank Lampard away because that's just a name. It's not. But I mean, people like
Daryl's face.
It's not. But I mean, people of that manager ilk, like a young manager looking for a job to get his management career, or a manager who needs one last job to try and resurrect his career. There is no one. If Tottenham go and say to Paris Saint-Germain, listen, we want to talk to Poch again, which I really hope we don't, only because I don't want Poch anywhere near the Parasite. Once the Parasite goes, I will do whatever to get Poch back. I will welcome him back, but not underneath this man.
Brian, you've missed one word out there before Parasite.
Which is?
Narcissistic.
Oh,
there we go.
I thought you were just going to say fucking, and I would have gone with that.
Yeah.
Levy. The thing I don't get about Daniel Levy is that the thing I don't get about Levy is he went completely full circle with the whole Mourinho thing. Sacking him before a cup final, replacing him with a child. Ryan Mason is literally a child in a management seat.
Oh, absolutely.
Toddler. Even Brian Clough was that young when he started out as a manager, and that was in the 60s. It's daft.
Yeah.
It was pathetic. And now we're hiring a manager. Now we've hired a manager. God bless him, Nuno. I like him, but he wasn't anywhere near our top choices. He was nowhere near.
Seventh.
Yeah. Well, to harp on what Elaine was saying about picking the team, you got to look at it. Nuno played his best football in his first two seasons at Wolves, playing 3-5-2. 3-5-2, 3-5-2, 3-5-2. That's when Wolves were like, okay, they're playing a bit of football. They got the players to back it up. He comes here and he can't even play the formation he wants. We're playing 4-2-3-1, which has been a Tottenham tradition for God knows how long, but I know that the Parasite's been at the helm for all of it. Don't get me wrong, Poch managed, whether Poch wanted that formation or not, he made that formation work. Whether it was, right, you got to play this way and then get the players around it. But if I was Nuno and I knew that my job, if I knew my job was on it, I'm like, you know what, fuck this, I'm playing 3-5-2 tomorrow. If I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out playing the football that I know I can get my team to express itself.
Get some results, because that's how you manage your team, and that's what you do. You take a risk. And Nuno's in a position where he has that opportunity. Take the risk. Go against your owners. Go against what your boss is telling you to do. But make sure you get results. Make sure something happens that's positive, and hopefully it comes.
I don't think it's Paratici. I think it's Levy telling Nuno what to do.
Oh, I agree. I think that's kind of always been the case.
I don't believe Bollocks is a defensive tactician. I don't believe so, because why is he going after attackers all the time? Why is he going after? I don't see him going after.
These central midfield defenders.
Yeah.
The way I see it as well. I mean, maybe I'm talking out of not knowing what I'm on about here, but maybe these agents, when they do these contracts with the chairman of the clubs for their manager that they're trying to get a job for, put it in place, have a minimum 12 months, irrespective of results, and he chooses the team.
Yeah, that's a good question. Brad, did you want to read this comment out? You got it up on the screen.
Yeah, no, I just brought it up because David's coming. I think David's part of the Audere Facere group, so I'm trying to get through as many as I can.
Get him on. He's an actor. He's brilliant. He's a great actor.
Listen, we want. Listen, the show is always open to anyone who wants to come on. They just need to reach out to us as well, or we reach out to them if they want to come on. But it's saying like the Nuno is too interactive on the line. He stands stroking his beard, basically like Wenger did with his pockets. That does not instill confidence in the players. Leadership comes from the manager. The other thing is the substitutes. You look at the substitutes. But this isn't a Nuno thing. We are always reactive, never proactive. Always have been, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. I mean, recently I've kind of got to it because he just doesn't trust the team because he hasn't been back to get the players. Like I've said, when we get to finals and semi-finals, and obviously they're not rewarded, they can't go over the line. Rather than going, okay, you can't get us over the line, we're going to bring in new players to freshen it up and get us over there, we give them new contracts. So they just sit there gathering dust and just sitting there. And
getting worse, arguably, like Dele Alli, the prime example of it. It's been 3 years since Dele Alli's been useful for this club. 3 years since he's scored more than 5 goals. He's really just not very good. He came into the squad at probably a really good time with the right players in the right positions and was able to, of course, with the right manager to perform. But he's just gone downhill. And why is he still with us? He should have been sold in the summer. He's now his value has gone from, I think I watched somebody do a stream on this. His value at the end of 2017 was 90 million. His value now is about 25. What a smart club does in that situation is they sell that player, at close to the peak or a little bit maybe below it. The season after they start to not play as well, or the manager changes, because the manager change is going to inevitably make the player not play the same way, and you're going to lose the quality of it. So
I've always said if a player cannot play in certain roles that the manager tells him to do at least half decently, then he's majorly overhyped.
Yeah. And that's been the case, isn't it, Darryl? When it comes to him being, let's play him as an 8, or let's play him as a 6, or let's play him on the left side of a 3, which is what Nuno did at the beginning of this season for the first 3 games. He never looks comfortable. He never looks like he's going to do anything. And he never really did. It's an interesting thing when you look at Dele. Sorry, I'm going on a rant here about this, but it's really frustrating for me. He looked very good in a very specific situation, but even when he was good and he was scoring all those goals, he only came into the games in moments. It wasn't like he was in the game running the game and it was going through him. He just got on the ends of passes because other players were more creative than him. His runs were great. His runs in the box late were great. But other than that, he wouldn't do anything for 65, 70 minutes, and he'd come in and score a goal and we'd be like, Dele, and it's that's long past, and we need to ship these players on like that.
I have a resolution for that.
What's that, Elaine?
Send Dele and Dyer to marriage counselling.
So I think
because let's face it, them players were like that, and on the field and off the field, and when they were on the field, they were just dynamic.
Yeah,
I think sometimes
send them to marriage counselling.
I've seen him play centre attack midfield. I've seen him play a false line. I've seen him play striker, and he's always been half decent in each and every one of those roles when called upon. He's been our most consistent performer since we signed him. I'll even turn around and say that our most consistent performer. Heung-min Son.
Yeah. Heung-min Son is now Tottenham. He is now. The torch has been changed from Harry to Sonny, and
yes,
I'm all for that. I think that's a positive thing.
I've seen him play, and he's done equally brilliantly in all of them.
Yeah, he steps up, Darryl, when we have issues, right? When we got injury problems and Kane was out, it was who stepped in and scored goals. It was always Sonny, and he did it really well. He did it. He got us through that Champions League to get us to the final, other than Lucas and that.
Lucas Moura played as a 9.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, well, let's get into the game specifically, folks. Here we got Man United at the weekend. They got their issues. We got their issues. We just sort of talked about that, but let's talk about. Brian, how do you expect Nuno setting up, and what, tactically speaking, is Nuno going to do anything different here? Or are we going to see the same sort of dross that we've seen from the last few games? Is there anything interesting to expect, tactically?
Well, I'm going to say it, but I'm done believing this will happen. I'm done saying we have to get out of the starting blocks quick and go at them, because Tottenham have just lost. They don't. I think I'm saying that in Swahili, and they don't have a clue what I'm talking about, because we just don't know how to do it. Listen, once again, this game is all going to come down to Ollie Skip. And I can't believe I'm saying
he's
this
been
about a
amazing.
20-year-old. I can't believe I'm having to say this about a 20-year-old. If after West, I mean, he was good on Wednesday. So like we discussed Romero, but Ollie Skip's performance has been outstanding. Pierre for the last couple has been a little bit off, and Pierre's my favourite player. I adore him.
Yeah,
I adore him. But Ollie Skip has shown such maturity and I hate that we're having to put so much pressure. We're saying about this with Hill.
He's dealing with it, though. He's dealing with it. It's nice to see.
Skip is there, and listen, they get the one thing that I know from Man U. I don't know if everyone saw the tweet that Marcus Rashford put out. All right, Liam Gallagher had a bit of banter with him straight away, but the Man U comment from Marcus Rashford said, "Sorry, I've been quiet recently. I've been embarrassed. I've been ashamed. This is not Manchester United. I've not known what to say. This is horrible. We are going to work hard every day to prove these guys wrong and prove your fat and say sorry to you fans." Compared to someone like Harry Winks, who says, "I don't know why I can't get into the." There's no accountability. There's no nothing. Whereas Man U are going to come out with like, right, we've just had our heaviest defeat at our biggest rivals, or sorry, at home, even worse, to our biggest rivals. We're going to come out all guns blazing. Yeah, we've performed like we have in 4 London derbies, especially after the Arsenal one. You would have thought, okay, West Ham, they come out. Listen, I'm done with saying we've got to get out of the blocks. And it's literally, I am petrified for this game. Petrified. Because they will come out. Forget that Ollie's in charge. Manchester United as players have ingrained in them that this is unacceptable. And they will come out and fight. Because the one thing Man U will know is their careers are on the line with certain players. Like if you don't play, yeah, I mean, you're gone. Forget it. Done. We'll find you a replacement. And I'm really, really, really worried. And I honestly think Skip and Romero are going to have their hands completely full tomorrow. And if they turn up, we might have a chance. We might have a chance.
Oh, it's difficult. Darryl, what are your thoughts on the game? What do you expect to see from Nuno? Do you see it? Is it 4-2-3-1? Is it the same sort of standard stuff we've been seeing?
It's going to be one or two things, isn't it? It's going to be either like what Brian just said there. It's either going to be a mullering for us, or we're going to be shut the fuck up, really. Well, they're going to shut us the fuck up. Harry Kane's going to shut us the fuck up. Everyone's going to do that. It's either going to be that or what Brian said in it. It's not going to be a draw. It's not going to be a draw. I'm telling you that now. There's going to be a winner tomorrow night. And the possibility is the winner could be resounding winners. This is a problem. Man United are either going to be a wounded animal negatively, or they're going to be a wounded animal positively from their side. Because they're going to be like, we got to fucking do something here. We can't do this. We can't get thrashed again. We can't do this again.
They can't really. They can't afford it, can they? It's a scenario where they have to do something special.
But the difference is between Tottenham and Man United. If we lose, we sack Mourinho. Who are we going to go for? Man United can have their pick of almost anyone. That job is so massive. It is massive. And they'll pay what it needs to be paid for a manager. Because they're Man United. They're the Glazers.
Yeah, that's true. They have the money. They have the money to spend. So we'd be in trouble if that's the case.
Yeah.
That
would save our lives, wouldn't it? Well done.
All right, I'm going over to you, Elaine. What are your thoughts? Do you think we have a chance tomorrow? Is it what Tottenham shows up? Because this is the thing, right? We've had like 2 or 3 different teams each week. Like who is it going to be? Is it going to be the pragmatic, boring, shitty Tottenham who wins 1-0? Is it going to be the Tottenham who comes out, lets 2 goals in and shits the bed? What do you expect to see? And how nervous are you for this?
My take on it is, if we can't even turn up for a London derby, then I'm sorry.
I'm worried.
I have no faith.
10-1 we've lost. 10-1, Elaine. 10-1 in London derbies this season so far. That's our current
exactly
record.
It pains me to say it, to say, oh, I think we are going to lose. Of course, I don't want us to. But I kind of reserve my judgment until I've actually seen the team sheet. And then I'll say, yeah, okay, I'm good with that, or I'm not.
Isn't arguably the same 11 that started last week against West Ham and the week before against Newcastle?
No, not
what so who do you change in that 11? And who do you if Nuno is going to be tactically inept in some capacity, what does he do? I mean, I think Brian mentioned Lo Celso. For me, that would be a great choice. I think get Lo Celso and Tanganga on the right side, maybe. Although I think not Romero, but this is. I'm having a Brian brain. A Royale on the right.
Are you getting mixed up with Royale?
Yeah, it's just the R start, and I
wish they called it Emerson, because he's actually Royale was just an added thing, weren't it? Emerson is actually his name. The jury's out with me with Lo Celso, because I think he keeps being sent out unnecessarily on international duty, and I think if he hadn't been, then he would be absolutely storming it. I really do.
He hasn't had a run in the side since he's come really properly, has he?
No,
if you look at the stuff, he hasn't had a good 6 months where he's played 90% of the games.
Injury or international duty. And
exactly.
I don't get how chairmen in other clubs get their players to fake an injury and cannot go on international duty, but ours can. Why is that? Because they're on the international stage and their value goes up and up and up and up. And why is that? Because we've got a narcissistic parasite.
Yep, 100%.
You know, I'd like to see ballsy wise against Man United tomorrow. I'd like to see Kane dropped. I'd like to see some up top. Yes. I'd like to see some up top and have Gill on the left.
Hill's injured though. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to play.
Or
Bergie. I have another idea, guys. Let me know what you think of this. I brought it up on a previous stream as well. I would like to see Harry Kane put in the number 10. Play him as a 10, put Son in front of him, and then have Bergwijn and Lucas on either side. He's our best playmaker. If you take him out of that position and you put him in a position where he's literally going to drop deep but isn't expected to also go forward, we then have our Eriksen back to some extent. He can pick a pass just like Eriksen used to. Like, why not take a risk? If you're managing this club right now and you're like, how do I get to be more creative? My most creative player, unfortunately, I'm not letting him create, or I'm also expecting him to do two positions. Put him in a 10, make him a 10, only a 10. You're playing in that position. You're going to dictate. You're going to quarterback this game. What do you think, Elaine? Am I crazy thinking that?
No, not at all. I absolutely agree with you. Like you say, play Harry the number 10 role. Bergwijn, I kind of find a little bit hit and miss. You know, he's either shit or shit hot. He's either on target or he's not. And if he's not on target, then he's in Rose Ed. But definitely Skippy has to be on that team sheet. And
he's the first one now, is on the team sheet at this point.
Without doubt.
What they did was send him to Norwich on loan, because what they did for him is we've got the benefits for.
Yeah, future captain for sure. Darryl, what do you think of Harry Kane as a 10? Is that something that you'd like to see? Because we don't have a midfielder in that position.
It could be the way to unlock stubborn defences, couldn't it? I mean,
he's
got that through ball on him. He's got a good long ball on him. And I've always championed Heung-min Son up top with effective 3 attacking players behind him.
Yeah, imagine that pace, right? You take Son.
Bergwijn isn't everyone's cup of tea. I know that, but he's got pace. And that's what we need against teams like Man United. But Lucas Moura on the other side's got pace as well.
Yep.
We haven't got any other choices because Gill's injured, as you said. Where else are we going to rely on? Jack Clark?
Yeah, and we're lacking creativity, right? Creativity is the thing everybody keeps saying we're lacking. Who's our most creative player from last season? It's Harry Kane. He got the most assists in the league and the most goals. So, if he's not scoring goals, let's get him at least assisting goals, because he's not. Whatever the setup that we're currently doing isn't working. We need somebody in a position who's a proper 10, who's gonna literally look around, pick a pass, get in behind, get those players running in behind the opposition defenses. And United's defense right now are shambles. They are, you can pick them apart. You put Kane in a 10 and you go, Kane, you got 3 runners in behind. Go, just hit those guys. Just make sure you hit those guys in between the lines. I think it's an obvious one to me, looking at what we're seeing there. Brian, what are your thoughts? Am I crazy with Harry Kane as a 10?
You're not, but it's. Again, I mean, you got to remember when we talk about Lo Celso didn't get what rave reviews play for Argentina, but he plays on the left. and he comes to Tottenham, and we play him on the right. It's like, well, what the are you doing? We literally, I've never seen such a team where for their international club, they're playing brilliantly. And even Messi is saying, wow, Lo Celso, wow. And it's like, well, yeah, that's all good that Messi and Argentina are saying this. You're Tottenham, you play on the right. It makes no sense. Now,
You've solved it, Brian. Lo Celso can play on the left.
Exactly what I was about to say. If someone up top, then I wouldn't mind seeing that at all, because somehow we've got to get the best out of Harry Kane whilst we have him. And obviously his shooting boots aren't on. And one thing I will say, the West Ham game, the one thing he did do, apart from that header, was a stunning through ball to Son. When Lucas Moura turned and hit it over, he still got the pass that he could put through an eye of a needle. And if we are relying on Harry Kane up top to all of a sudden find his scoring boots, but let's face it, in every single Premiership game, apart from Newcastle away, he hasn't. No. It's going to be kind of, I don't fancy it with this. I've got more faith in Son. I have got, and it's weird that we're saying this about Harry Kane, but I have more faith in Son.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, we have to be honest about it, right? That's what it comes down to in these situations. It's what are we looking at? Let's be honest. Let's try to make the best out of the players we have. It's clear to me. Of course, I'm not a coach, but if I'm Nuno and I'm seeing what's gone on in the 9 games we played this season, that we're missing a 10. We're missing creativity. We've tried Dembele there. We've tried Dele there. We've tried maybe not enough Lo Celso in that position. Even Lucas Moura has played in that position last season. It just doesn't seem like it's just like square pegs into a round hole. We've got a 10. He's literally wearing the number. Put him in the 10. Let him dictate. Let him quarterback. Like why wouldn't you at least try it? Try it for a game. And in a game against United where you can get in behind their defenders, it makes complete sense to me. I'd like to see it. So we're gonna end the United talk here because we need to get into the Levy stuff. But I want to get to Darryl. I want to do score predictions before we get into the Levy stuff. Darryl, score predictions for United tomorrow. What do you think? What do you expect to see? You said one way or the other is going to be a lot of goals. So let me know what your score predictions are.
Generous prediction 2-2.
Well, you said there was never going to be a tie. There's never going to be a tie. Now you're going 2-0.
So, I know it'd be a tie, but if I was being I'm saying it as if it was a generous.
You're being generous. I get you. I get you.
Yeah, but if it's going to be a realistic prediction, it's either going to be 1-0 Spurs or 3-0 United. And I fear it's going to be the latter. I fear they're going to take us to the cleaners.
Oh, goodness.
I really do fear that.
Thanks for that, Darryl. You're making me feel really excited about tomorrow. It's all good, man. It's all good. Elaine, predictions for the score tomorrow.
Heart 2-0 Spurs. Head 3-1 Man United.
Oh, goodness gracious. Bri.
I have to say, do you know what? Going after Elaine it's proved to be quite a bitch because she's saying everything I want to say. So she's literally.
You guys agree that's not a bad thing.
She's just done the. She's like, oh my god, she said it. I was just about to say that. Oh my god, but no, my heart is saying 2-1 us. My head is a lot more concerned. Let's just say Liverpool, Manchester United scoreline.
Oh goodness, I don't think it'll be that bad, but who knows?
If United turn up with their honestly, and we just do what we do, and I swear to God, this is the greatest segue into Levy out, because I swear to God, if this happens or we get defeated heavily, if people do not act and do not stand and do not help what we're trying to do, as Change for Spurs, as Levy out, as this great group is trying to do, if people don't start turning around and acting upon this, I don't know what else needs to be done. But yeah.
So before Brian, I know that you wanted to do a segue there, and I appreciate that. I love the effort on the segue. That's professional.
Oh, you need professional.
Yeah, thank you. I haven't done mine. I'm going to keep it boring though, guys. As much as I think everybody's kind of has an emotional response and then their practical response, I think the obvious one is a 1-1 draw. I don't see both of these teams are struggling. Neither of them have scored a lot of goals this season at all, and one of them has a really shit defense, and the other one has a really shit offense. So I think 1-1. I think that's likely the case, and I can't see much else happening. But let's get into
before we get into the Levy thing now. I am going to talk Levy. It will be. There's another guy now. I've commented when he came on. I did a big thing about this on the Irish Hotspurs channel on Monday. There's a guy in the comments now, and I'm just going to bring him up and say hello to him. This guy I have got the biggest amount of respect for out of everyone. Now, the reason that happened, I'll say it, me and him got into a bit of a social media altercation on a specific YouTube channel. And I wouldn't say it got nasty, but it weren't nice. But you know what? It just goes to show what social media can do, because me and him both spoke together privately, cleared the air, got it off. Like he wasn't even on any of the channels before, and he started to come on them. And I have so much respect for this man, Harry Payne. So I just want to say big up. It's his first time here on our channel. So I just want to say welcome to it, Harry, and thank you for joining, because you said he might join. So thank you very much, buddy.
Cheers,
and now
Harry.
we can, and it was funnily enough, about a parasite. The argument was so yeah, now we can talk about my chosen subject on Mastermind. So let's go. Let's
go. I'm going to lead this a little bit. I want to get Darryl's and Elaine's history of being initially Levy in to then shifting to Levy out, because I think that's an important thing, and that's something that I did as well. And it took me longer to get there, but I am there now as well as you guys. You guys initially started, Darryl, if I'm not mistaken, as a Levy in group. You mentioned it as we were about to get started, that it was more like you saw some of the things that they were doing as a club at the stadium and the training ground as positives, and I think I did as well. And I thought, well, what's so bad about this situation? But we can talk about that. So Darryl, talk about that transition from that for the group and your transition yourself.
Well, when I was Levy in, I was absolute hothead. I would not listen to anyone that said Levy out.
Did you say was, Darryl? Sorry, was that a
Sorry?
Was that a past tense thing? Was a hothead?
No, come on, I've chilled out before.
I know, I'm kidding, Darryl. I'm having a laugh with you.
I really was a bastard. I'm like I said at the start of the stream, I'm not proud of it. I'm not going to deny anything. I was an absolute cunt, to be honest. I was a bastard. And I threw everyone under the bus that was because I felt that they weren't supporting the club. And now I've gone full cycle, because I know what he's doing to that fucking club. I know that he's ripping the fans off. I know that he's tucking people up like a kipper. It took me so fucking long. And I feel like a bastard to these people, because I know that they were fucking right.
Yeah.
He's a bastard to the club. He don't care about us. He don't care about the fans. He don't care about anyone. All he cares about is his fucking little dollars that he's picking up from infrastructure, from fucking food and drink at the grounds every time. American football with fucking footballs everywhere. As Brian himself was like streaming on his video. We can't do a fucking statue of Jimmy Greaves or Bill Nick, but we can fucking put up an inflatable NFL football right in the middle of the fucking Tottenham High Street. Fuck off. You know what I mean?
Preach, Darryl, preach. No, it's spot on, mate.
Get someone in who's going to fucking spend the money to turn us into a top club again, like we did in the 60s, like we did in the 70s, like we did in the 80s, and just fucking do it. Get the fuck out. You don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. All you want to do is pick up the money. That's not good enough. Fuck off and take your boyfriend Joe Lewis with you. I've had enough.
Well said, Darryl. Fantastic. Brian, that was like the proper rant, you know. Brian,
that was.
I'm angry. I'm angry because I've wronged so many people. I'm angry at myself for believing the bullshit. I'm really angry at myself for believing the bullshit. And like I've said, if I can reconcile with a few of these people that I've wronged, then that's fucking brilliant for me. But if not, then that's tough shit for me, innit? Like at the end of the day, let's move on. Whatever, but let's get Levy the fuck out of this club, and Lewis, and Kate, and fucking what's her name? Donna Cullen. Fucking cheesy sandwiches, whatever. Fuck off.
So this is the great thing. I mean, we're asking Elaine about her Levy story in a minute, but the great thing, I said it to Elaine backstage, we're one of the platforms that are very, as you can tell, funnily enough, very, very anti-Levy out. Well, funny enough, with me involved.
Positively Levy out, not anti-Levy out. We want Levy out.
You know what I mean. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm just double negative myself. I want the parasite out. Funnily enough, everyone knows. And we're one of the channels, and a few more are coming. Like, we are Tottenham TV, are the mothership that have said it. But you've got a lot of these channels that are very, very Levy in, or very, very trying to get in with the club so they get the perks and the benefits. And part of the group, which I'll go into in more detail for all the people that aren't aware of Change for Spurs, and for your group when they listen to it on Facebook, a lot of people don't want to commit to it because obviously they think we're the bad guys, but they don't want to be seen as the few people that are doing this and looking like that. And a lot of people are getting a lot of criticism for being Levy out because people will not come out.
So, yeah. Brian, do they want their club back? This is it. Do they want their club back?
Exactly the point.
If they want their club back, they'll fight tooth and fucking nail to get their club back. We've got to do something. It's getting desperate. We've been 20 years for this come. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. We can't do another 20 years of this, man. No way. No way.
Oh, literally, what would I be in another 20 years? I'll be 62. No, thank you. I'll be 60. No, thank you. But Elaine, back to yourself. So what was your story with Levy?
To be fair, I never really had an opinion of him, in or out, until when he sacked Martin Jol. 25th of October.
Oh, she remembers the date too. Impressive.
Yeah, 2007.
Against Getafe.
At halftime, yeah. It's hard to forget that, isn't
it? After the General, Martin Jol was, for me, the best manager we had. And I still regard him way up there with the best, because for me, the way he was treated. From that day, I thought, hang on a minute, what sort of a chairman have we got that sacks a manager at half-time? Not after a defeat or at an end of a season, but at half-time? Hello? Whoa, this needs questioning. And I've never liked him since. Although I use the word quite often in the group, I will be polite, but he's a narcissistic, parasitical thrush nugget.
Yes. I love me some thrush nugget usage. That's a great term. I'm pretty sure that's a Darryl, I'm pretty sure that's the first time I saw anybody say thrush nugget, it was you, but it was definitely you.
Otherwise I'd get banned. So, you know.
And, for me, if I could go back to the old lane, forget the shiny new stadium. Yeah, still have the training facilities. Forget the shiny new stadium, because all it is for tourists. He is there.
In the NFL and concerts and you know, it's not a football club anymore. If you don't have even like the, you know, the team's motto written on the seats, it's just blue seats. You know, like haven't even tried.
I don't know. Have you seen the Penury myth on YouTube?
I have not. Right.
Penury myth is a YouTube guy, which obviously the other Brian knows about, Boy Hotspur, and he's
Boy Hotspur, I know, yeah.
He's actually a copy of the document of when all the legal stuff was going through for the new stadium, and one of the board of directors had made it quite clear that the NFL was the most important and the first thing. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club was second on the agenda. Now, I hate that. I don't even want to say his name because he's a little fucking parasite. He's like an extra from a James Bond film where he should be a baddie. And I don't know who the name of the guy who was in Sniper, but if I could employ him, then well, hell, yeah, get him in my number. He literally is ripping our club apart. He's not running it, he's ruining it. He's ruining it, not running it. And what really, really I fear more than anything is 3 seasons coming in now, no naming rights. Now, I was born in Coventry. All my family are Coventry City supporters for their sins. And I fear we're going to get into another Sisu situation where we're going to have to rent that ground off him.
Oh, God.
Mentioned you from Coventry.
And where does that leave us?
You mentioned you're from Coventry. Tell the two Bryans about when you were attending the 87 Cup final.
The what?
The 87 Cup final when you had that massive round of copper.
Oh, yeah, I come out of Wembley Stadium, crying my eyes out, as I was, because we'd lost the cup final. This police officer came up to me and says, "Are you all right?" No, I fucking ain't. Don't you swear to me, young lady. My fucking team's just lost the fucking FA Cup. Any more of that language and I'll have to arrest you. Fuck off. That was it.
Nice one. That's fantastic.
But yeah, but no,
yeah, go on.
Yeah, that worries me. That's why I want him out more than anything, because, like I say, the naming rights. How many clubs in the Premier League have gone this long without naming their new stadiums?
It's a strange one, isn't it? I'd like to know why, like in at least an explanation as to why. Like if there is one. Sorry, Darryl, you want to add something?
He's expecting too much money for the naming rights. That's what it is.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he expects too much money for everything. He thinks he's going to get 40 million for Dele Alli.
Another thing I've got to say to you two, Brian. I don't know if you've noticed, but you get this collective of Levy lovies that turn around and say, well, if it wasn't for Daniel Levy, if it wasn't for Enoch, we wouldn't be fighting top four. What the fuck has it got to do with Levy and Lewis? Look, we're fighting for top four. I'll tell you who's the top four. Andy Redknapp, Martin Joe, and yeah, they got us there. They got us there. Not fucking Baldy and his fucking.
He got lucky with Pochettino. Let's be honest. Pochettino was luck.
He got lucky with all three.
Yeah, there was nothing there that was him being genuinely smart about making football decisions. He had failed so miserably so many times. He got lucky with Pochettino, and Pochettino was able to work with him somehow. Sorry, Darryl, I got you muted for a second. What was that? Say that again. What was the last thing you said, Darryl? I was
sorry. Pochettino was basically a case of Levy jumping off a fucking 30,000 foot cliff and landing on a fucking foam mattress. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly right. It's just pure fluke, essentially, right? It's pure fluke. He was at Southampton. Had done reasonably well, played some good football at Southampton. It did okay in Spain, but he got really lucky, and we got really lucky because we got to see what our club can be and could have been. Getting to a Champions League final. That's all on Pochettino. That has nothing to do with what Levy did. So
I just want to talk about you just mentioned, Brian, about just about the naming rights. Now, one thing I will say: when Bolton moved to Bolton, the Reebok Stadium was called the Reebok Stadium before it went in. When Arsenal moved to the Emirates, it was called the Emirates before they went in. When the King Power became the King Power, it was the King Power before the King, or Walkers when they moved into it.
Yeah, the habit is you get the naming rights before the stadium opens.
So it's happened now. Now, when we were trying to get these naming rights, we were at our highest of our heights, and we could have charged top dollar, but obviously top dollar that we were offered compared to top dollar they wanted is something very, very different. Now, I've said to you, and I've called this out every single time, and every single time I've been right, when I said Conte, and I said publicity stunt, season ticket renewals, once it's done, it will die. Player transfers, once it's done, it will die. It's all hot air. It comes out every single time when chips are down, all the naming rights are close. Yeah. And then you've got to remember, he hired someone from America recently who was involved with the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins in getting the biggest naming rights in American football history. He's been here for a year. There's been 2 stages where naming rights have almost been close. It hasn't happened. You've also got to remember that we had the training gear sponsor and the sleeve sponsors that have come through. And why could we not use that money to get Tomiyasu over the line? Why couldn't we use that money to get Martinez over the line? Because it's all bullshit. It's all. Do you know what? I'm gonna shout out a rumor, like we used to do at school, where it was like, this guy fancies this person or this girl fancies it, and it's like it all gets all run, and then it's nothing. It's nothing. Every single time it's hot air. I call bullshit every single time he does this, and I've been proved right, unfortunately, every single time. I've said there's nothing more I would love to do and come on here and go, I got it wrong. There's nothing more I would love to do, but this happens time and time again. I mean, players are stagnating. Money's coming in but not being spent. We go around this transfer merry-go-round every single time where there's a great player coming in and then the deal's ready, the deal's there, it's all been spoken about, and then all of a sudden, no, it's dead. It's dead. It's like, it was never alive to begin with.
Well, I'm going to give you a revelation here. I don't know if you're aware, but the Fulham Football Club chairman, he owns his own NFL in the UK. Yep. They've got their own American football in the UK. They are doing negotiations with Daniel Levy to have their away games at our stadium.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow, really?
Now that came from we was at our jolly last week, a couple of weeks ago, weren't we, Dee? And the pub that we use for our get-togethers, the girl beyond the bar, she knows somebody who is in contact with Fulham Football Club, and they were saying that because they've got their own American football team that play at Fulham, he's negotiating the away games at our stadium. And why?
Yeah, it's all about money, isn't it? It's that's what it really comes down to. I just can you sell up to somebody who cares about football again, because
he doesn't care about football.
I know, and he talks about, oh, I'm a Spurs fan. I'm like, no, you're not. You're pretending like it. You're pretending like it, but you aren't. If you were, that would be the first thing you'd be paying attention to. So
I can see him from my seat every home game, right? I can see him. I can look diagonally.
Can you throw anything at him?
I wish. And I can see him. And there's times when when you know there's going to be a goal scored because it's on the run and it's like,
yeah.
And I'm thinking, just this once, I'm not going to look at the goal. I'm going to look at him. Nothing. He's as dead as a fucking dodo.
He is.
No emotion whatsoever. No, I mean, you go to Leicester, you see the chairman there. That's a family club. That's how to run a club.
About the Leicester chairman.
Passion.
Really made me jealous that day.
I've got more passion in my toenail than he has in his body, Levy. And like I say, if anybody knows the actor who played the role of the sniper, give me his number.
Yeah, you got a good shot.
To the Leicester chairman lift the FA Cup with his players and the manager. That made me fucking jealous.
100% jealous. I think that's a good example of a club that has done really well with understanding who to bring in as ownership, who to bring in as a manager, how to recruit properly, how to bring in the right players, and how to build up from where they were. Everybody thought Leicester were going to go down after they win the league. They're going to eventually. They've reinvested. They've reinvested in the right ways. I think. As a Spurs supporter, I am jealous of what they've been able to do and how well they've been able to do it with very little money as well. They have money. Don't get me wrong. I think anybody who's in the Premier League has money, but the way they've spent their money, they're not just chucking money at it. They're making good decisions, good recruitment decisions, and they brought in a good manager to do it over a long period of time.
Exactly, Brian.
You used the keyword there, investment, didn't you?
Yeah.
You used the keyword there, investment.
Investment. Yeah.
Sorry, but that may be. A banner needs to be put up with that word, investment.
Yeah, understand what that means.
The thing I'm jealous about is because there's a family like bond between the very top of the board and right down to the fucking tea lady. You know what I mean? There's a close bond in that club, very close, and it's unbreakable.
Yeah. And Darryl, would you not?
Levy's got no heart. He's got no soul. He's just an absolute. He's complete and utter. Okay, I'm gonna say he's a right cunt.
He's empty. He's an empty cunt for sure.
Yeah,
it's just like he just looks like there's nothing there. We had this too. This is the most frustrating part with Pochettino being at the club. Pochettino brought all of that despite Levy. We had a manager who brought that the manager down to the tea lady. We had it all there except the chairman, who still was going to be a prick. But at least we had something. We had a club where we felt like we were part of it. Pochettino was like my second father for a period of time. That's what it felt like. I just loved him. I just loved him. He was just such a wonderful human. And
he's my next
husband. Every home game. I remember going to every home game, and Elaine will tell you this. I used to go there with fucking excitement because of Poch.
Yeah.
He put that belief in me. I didn't give a fuck about Levy. I thought he was a cunt, but I knew that Poch would work something with what he had.
Yeah.
And we had something special with Poch, and we didn't fucking realise it.
Yeah, and again, it went through the club, and all that needed to happen is that the chairman should have reinvested in him. And when he said we have a painful rebuild ahead of us, which I believe he said is almost 4 years ago now, he said that. And that painful rebuild is barely getting started. Had you done that with Pochettino and understood he knew what he was talking about and did it within the system, within the cycle of how football goes, okay, we got to the Champions League, but we should have invested immediately in 2 or 3 of the right players and gotten out some of those players who weren't playing at the level that they needed to be at. The likes of a Dele Alli, sell them while they're hot, take that money and invest it in the positions we needed in, which has not happened and didn't happen and still is barely happening at this point. So it's incredibly frustrating. Go on, Brian.
I just want to bring something in here. Then also I'll talk a little bit about changes for Spurs, because there's a Michael Chapman that's brought out this comment about protesting outside the training ground. But so I will talk a little bit about protest, because obviously tomorrow with the game and everything. But what's annoying me the most as well with this and Levy out is forget what he's done to the team, forget what he's doing with the stadium, forget what the money. What's pissing me off right now is we have a very, very good supporter who, in our shadow, by the name of Sue Smith. And Sue, if you are watching, you know you're a diamond. And there's people on other shows that I go on, and there's people that have been fans from like the 50s and the 60s that are now refusing to go to Tottenham, or refusing to watch Tottenham, or refusing to come on these streams, because this used to be their enjoyment of coming on and expressing themselves and talking and having a voice and having an opinion. And they're talking about how they watched the great double team, how they saw the Hoddles, the Waddles, the Mackays, the Greaves, the Klinsmans, the Sheringhams, you can go on and on, the Vertongans, the Gazzers, the whatever, but are no longer accepting this, and they can't even watch their Tottenham. They're like, literally, in a world where COVID has ripped the world apart and football's been the salvation, they are turning around now and saying, I can't do it. I don't recognise this club. And for me to hear, like, I feel this way about my club, but obviously I'm fighting, but there's people that can't, and it's affecting people's mental health. It really, really is. And I'm not taking the piss. I'm not joking. Tottenham Hotspur and the way we're being run and the way we are sliding, like just literally off the face of the earth with where we're going, there's lack of ambition, lack of direction. The fact that it's doing this to fans like that, who are lifelong Spurs fans from way before the parasite was around, way before the parasite was born, and they're now feeling this way, sickens me. Absolutely, but it gives me the petrol to put on my. Not that I need any extra petrol poured on my fire for him, but Michael, listen. When it comes to protest at the training ground, believe me, there are plans afoot now. This is where people need to help. I mean, tomorrow is
maybe we need a little few, or no, a lot of maybe posters of the general with there used to be a football club over there. So this is the thing. I mean, I'm part of change.
Right.
When I say for change for Spurs, I am a part of it. I'm been a part of it from the start, but it's not just I have the platform here to come out and speak, and I had it before I joined them. And the reason I come out and do this is because a lot of those people are season ticket holders or whatever, and do not. I've heard recent stories that someone got seen at the protest. They've had their loyalty points taken away from them. That's how low this man is stooping.
Really?
He's literally. I've got guys that were at the protest that live on the Park Lane during the NFL. They were making everything available for the NFL and doing the building and road work at 3 a.m. when people were trying to sleep within the area. They don't care. They do not care. So listen, we at Change for Spurs have. This is why a lot of them don't come on camera or whatever. They're there when you see them. Listen, I have the platform, so I'm trying to get it out to as many people. And this is why I'm so happy I found your group, guys, because having such a staunch Levy out, I don't know what the demographic is of how many season ticket holders, how many go to the games, how many live in the local area. But listen, what we've been trying to do is, and we're not going anywhere. I mean, obviously, I can't protest anymore after tomorrow, because obviously I will be in North America, where I am taking the fight to North America, where we are going to be going for Tavistock, NFL, Nike. So we're not just relying on the English support anymore. You guys need help, and we need to get them where the money is. So that's Nike, Tavistock, NFL. In the Far East, I've got people that I'm speaking with that are ready to go for AIA. So this is now going to become like a much bigger part of the plan. But the main aim of Change for Spurs is obviously to get them out. But we keep getting a lot of criticism on Twitter for, oh, look, there's only 15 of you. Oh, look, there's only 20 of you. Or whatever the numbers have been. But what these guys aren't seeming to remember is, yes, we need numbers. And if you're at Manchester United tomorrow and you feel that you want your club back, we are going to be there from 2 p.m. till kick, or like till 5 o'clock. You don't have to come for the whole time. If you come for the first half hour, amazing. If you only come for the full 3 hours, brilliant. If you only come for 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever, just get there, because we need help out, because we're not getting the numbers that we need outside the shop or opposite the shop. But what we are doing, which was the main factor, was to get media exposure and media awareness, because in today's world, the war is won via media. Like it or not,
social media in particular, for sure. Yeah, it needs to go viral in some capacity, right? Like that's
exactly, and that's what's doing it. And what we have seen in the time that I've been here, where the protests, obviously the NFL ones, that you can see on Twitter that the tide is turning. People are starting to wake up. People are starting to, and there's some fools on Twitter that have a go at me, but then retweet what I put. So I'm like, thank you, mate. You may be having a go at me, but I don't really care. You're getting my message out. Yeah, so I'm like, thank you, mate. Thank you for not even, you're criticising me for being stupid and trying to get them out, but you've just protested. You've just retweeted my Levy out protest to about however many followers you've got. So, listen, we've had so many plans to do so many things, but it's number based. It really is. If we wanted to start holding the banner as people have seen us doing, walking down the high road and standing outside the shop, that's a big banner. And then if we do, we want to have people. You got to remember, Sky are going to be all around the place tomorrow. They're going to be everywhere, and other media outlets. They're going to be outside the ground, looking for. So the more people we have scattered around, or there, if we have 15 people going leave you out, and throwing our banners, or we have 150 people. Obviously, there at the ground, it will make more of an impact. There are discussions that we're in talks with to think of walkouts or sit-ins or other things, which I can't obviously go into too much detail without knowing what's going on for sure. But we are literally this group of people that I'm with, and it's growing, obviously. And there's people in this chat that I have met that have come and said hello to me because they saw me advertise it and they came down. One of them's in the building, which is Seb Shah, who I hadn't met until the NFL protest. Love the dude. He'll be there tomorrow. Funnily enough, there's actually one of my friends coming from Canada tomorrow, or he's here now. He's coming to meet me there tomorrow. So that's, I mean, there's more people coming, and we're seeing that the international fan base has a hell of a lot to do with this. A hell of a lot to do with this. And we need help. So I know a lot of people have been like, oh, do you know what? I don't want to be seen because of safety in numbers. Listen, we haven't caused any trouble, and we're not looking to cause any trouble. That's not what we're about. We've been getting a lot of abuse from Levianers, and also I think a lot of them, so many people walk past us and take a picture with the flags and go, do you know what, I support you, leave you out, and then walk off. Which again, I kind of understand, because you may have a job where you don't want to be seen, you may whatever, but they're putting it on their Twitter. So it's getting out there. But we need foot soldiers and people that are ready to fight. And when I say fight, I mean in the pro-peaceful way. To literally get this bastard out, because people keep going on about it. Now, I've said it before.
He's a cancer in the club.
Like I said,
He's a cancer in the club.
You talk about COVID and how it's ruined industries and ruined livelihoods. Go eat at Chicken. Go eat at the Pie and Mash shop. Go eat at all the hundreds of food shops that you've got walking down the ground. Don't give your money to him. Don't go spend money in the club shop. Don't go spend money in the club shop. As much as you want that Spurs shirt, now I understand, don't get me wrong, if you have kids and you say you can't have this kid, I understand that. Just don't buy it at the Spurs shop. Go to JD Sports, go to whatever sports outlet you've got, because yes, they will get a percentage of it, but it'll be a minuscule compared to what comes in the club shop. Get the snide ones. I've got a snide one because I refuse to put a penny into the club. I'm going tomorrow. I've got a free ticket. I don't give them any money. I won't spend any money in the stadium. People have got to buy me drinks because I refuse to put my hand in my pocket in that place. And this is the only way people are going to. There's so many people saying, you want him out, you want him out, you want him out, do stuff. I want him out, but until we stop spending. So stop spending. Stop spending. It's that simple.
Let's talk about a little bit of what we can do with what our partnership is going to be here, because we, just to let everybody know, we're going to be working with Darryl and Elaine quite a bit in this conversation, and utilize your group and utilize our channel so we can kind of work with each other to try to just get the message out there. You guys got a ton of people who follow your group. We're starting, we're a relatively new channel, but we're trying to grow. We need a message, right? We need to have ways of putting these things out there. So I don't know what that is 100%. Maybe it's a I don't know what it is. There's a few different ways to do it. Obviously, these videos are good, and getting them to as many people as possible is going to be ideal. We have to be creative, though. We have to be creative and think about different ways of putting this out there and getting it to people so that they recognize what the issues are. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are casual fans, especially with international fans. To some extent, it's a casual relationship with a club that they have an affiliation with to some extent, but aren't necessarily locally affected. So we could talk about what the local fans, like you talked about, Elaine, a minute ago, when we talked about the construction that was going on at 3 a.m, or was that Brian? One of you guys, either way. Yeah. So like those are the people who are affected. The locally, how do we get those people to talk to us so that we can get it on our forums where we've got a channel, and you guys got your Facebook group. Like maybe we can have one of those people on, have a Q&A with them on this channel, and then we can have it on on Audere, Facere on Facebook. Those are the types of things we just got to kind of roll that out a little bit and push it a little bit. But I just wanted to get it out there and talk about it. If anybody has ideas, it is like, reach out to Brian and I on Twitter if you're in the group, or if you want to get in the group with Darryl and Elaine. Just ask to join the group, and we'll get in the conversation. We'll get you guys on the channel. We'll have chats about this stuff, and the more we talk about it, the more we push it, the more likely we have an opportunity to try to get people to make a difference and do something that's going to change what's happening with the club. I am not local, right? So I don't have the same problems that local people have when it comes to, if I lived on the high road and I dealt with what's going on with the NFL, I don't have that issue. But what I have an issue with is that the club itself is not being. The football isn't the focus anymore, and that was why I fell in love with Tottenham. Was the football, not the stadium, not the training ground, not the NFL bullshit. How many Lady Gaga concerts can happen at the state? I don't care. Like, what's happened with the football club? How good are we? Or who's playing this week? Like that's that. I'm here for the football. So if that focus on that and making sure that becomes a thing that we focus on, and we say, needs to be the top priority first and foremost, over and above all this nonsense. And we all know that isn't going to be the case with the current ownership, and we have to find a way to get them out so we can get back to the football, because it is Tottenham Hotspur is a football club. It's Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. That's literally the fucking name. It's the fucking name. So let's get back to that, and hopefully we can we can get some push going and make some change. But Brian, anything I want to add? Darryl and Elaine, you guys have been quiet while Brian and I both kind of gone off a bit. Did you anything to add?
All I'd say is that I know there's a load of guys and girls in the group that literally want to be guests, so they can give their, a couple of them said, oh, maybe my language might be a little bit colourful. No, just go for it.
We encourage colourful language. We have no fucking issue with colourful language.
Absolutely fucking none whatsoever. What a bunch of fucking wankers.
I think somebody said, not like I really feel about leaving. No.
Yeah, if you come on here and don't swear, we might not let you back on again. We're going to go with that. That's kind of how it is.
We gosh and fucking whatever and fiddlesticks. No, don't bother.
Yeah, but anything to add, guys? We're an hour and a half in here. I think we've kind of covered everything. This is not the first or last stream we're going to do with you guys. We're gonna keep trying to make this a regular. We'll have chats with you guys. We'll see how things are going. See how things are going in each of the, both of our forums. What's happening on our channel. We're obviously going to share it in the group, and what's happening with your group. We'll try to push that as much as we can and keep this momentum, and also just have some fun with the football club as well. Like it still is Tottenham Hotspur. It still is our club, and we're still going to try to make the best out of a bad situation, because that's
why
what we do as supporters, right?
Soul back. We've got to get our soul back.
And we are the soul, right? The fans are the soul of the club.
We are the soul.
We're
the beating heart and the soul of the club.
100%.
We'll be defeated.
The rest of us just furniture that needs to move around a bit.
Like I said, I support a football club, not a Monopoly team, and that's what we're playing now. We're playing Monopoly, and we're just building hotels and building this and building that, and Levy land this and Levy land that, and Skywalk this, and yeah, I mean, like Bryce said, it's been wicked having you guys on. This is not gonna any of you guys that are in this amazing group. Please, just me and Brian are very, very approachable, as Darryl and Elaine will mention. And you can reach out to us, literally come onto the group, message us. We'll have all of you, any of you on, and we would just love. This is why we're so happy that, like I said, Darryl, it's been such a good. I was saying to Elaine backstage that how it started with Brian mentioning your name last Sunday, and then within a week, here we are, and we all want the same thing, which is a successful Tottenham, which is made B by a parasite being out. And I think your Facebook group and our channel are going to be like hand in glove. And yes, anyone who wants to come on the show and discuss anything, it doesn't even have to be Levy. We do match reviews, everything.
Yeah, go ahead, Elaine.
Yeah, I was saying, can I give a big shout out to one of our admins, Stephen Hazel? He is like a proper Levy out, and I mean as passionate as what you are. And I think at some point he may come onto your channel. He said, give him a shout out tonight. So.
Oh, there's your shout out, mate. Yeah, and we definitely want you to come on.
Steve Hazel.
Absolutely want you to
watch Levy get fisted up the arse quite violently. Only not feel a flicker of emotion. I'm telling you.
This is what he tells us in admin.
Oh, brilliant stuff. All right. Well, on that note, Darryl, I want your last thoughts before we go here, because we're gonna wrap it up. But what are your last thoughts, Darryl, before we wrap it up?
My last thoughts. Let's get the cunt out. That's the only thought I've got. It's the only thing I've got. Without it, I'm redundant, mate.
Well, Darryl, it's a pleasure.
Get him and that group out now.
Yeah, we need a change, right? It has to happen. Darryl, I want to thank you for coming on, mate. I feel like I know you because of the
thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, man. And you know, I feel like I've known you because I've been a part of your group forever, and you've been doing such good stuff. And
sweet man, that really did thrill me a bit. So.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure, mate, because it has been a
I was going to post up in the group saying, "Who are these guys?"
Yeah. They said something nice about us. Yeah. Fantastic, I loved it. And Elaine, of course, brilliant as well. You were great today. You were nervous, and you didn't seem it at all. You were fantastic. Any last words?
Firstly, can I just say thank you so much for inviting me on and having me here tonight.
Absolute pleasure.
It's been absolutely brilliant. I've just got one thing to say. Daniel Levy's a fucking thrush nugget.
You know what? I'm going to love doing this more often. Do you know what? It's like I used to be the bad one in a panel, and I used to have to try and play the pantomime villain. And now it's like now we're building up like a mafia squad. I'm loving it.
Maybe we should send him a box of Caniston.
Maybe, Joe. I mean, as you know, Elaine, I told you I'm blocked. I'm blocked from sending me emails. I'm blocked from
because it's great for irritating cunts, isn't it?
Gold.
I've got one closing remark, Brian. Which is obviously, listen. Like I said, 2:00. Opposite the club shop. Come down. It'll be my last protest I can be to before I go back to
tomorrow anyway. So we're there tomorrow anyway. So we'll probably come and meet you.
Yeah. Make sure. Anybody who's watching the stream, anybody who watches it before tomorrow, you just go down and say hi to Brian. Obviously, as much as you can be part of the protest as much as you can. Get your voice heard, because it is going to take some time. It's not going to be simple, and it's going to seem redundant to some extent. I think a lot of people. Sorry, what's that, Darryl?
It could take years, but we've got to do something.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. Yeah,
nothing. It'll just carry on. He needs to feel the heat, and boy, is he going to.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic stuff. Audere, Facere, check them out on Facebook. If you're a Spurs fan and you care about our club, it's one of the best groups you're going to go to check out. And there's a lot of good banter in there, a lot of good fun. Looking forward to having you guys back on again.
Thank you, guys.
Absolute pleasure. Brian, we always finish this with one word, but I'll let you do the honors.
Levy out.
Levy out.